Hey everybody, bless the King, King Jesus, Yeshua, Savior of the world, Pastor Morgan here. So I want to tell you guys about something. Don't worry about my crazy hair. I just woke up a little bit ago. Whoa, that's actually crazy. Okay, I just woke up a little bit ago. It's going on 11. I woke up really early, like 7. I've just been moseying around, okay? I just want to show you guys something, okay? I was watching the news, and you'd never believe it. The president, Honorable President Trump, he came on, dude. And he was talking about to Christians and great citizens, because Christians are the best citizens. Telling you the honest truth here. And he came on and he did an amazing speech. It was like, dude, it's not going down like these evil people of the past are making it go down. You're not going to be tormented. Your sermons won't be, limited or whatever. I forget the wording of it. But it was so great. You need to go check it out. Check it out. It's October 13th, 2017. You need to go check out that speech. He just did it on the news, okay? And it literally just ended like 2 minutes ago or something. And I want to show you guys. You got to hear it, okay? You got to hear it. You got to hear the difference, all right? You're going to see the difference of the crybaby liberals who are trying to destroy Trump. And by destroying Trump, destroy all the great things that he wants to do for our nation and do for us Christians. And by doing for the standard of Christian, that trickles down to everybody else. You understand? By going to the high level of doing great stuff for Christians, everybody below that, who's pretty much everybody else, is going to be greatly benefited by it as well. So I think it's going on commercial, and we're going to wait. No, it's not. So it's 11 o'clock. It's 11 a.m. right now. And the speech just ended like a few minutes ago. And CNN, soon as I turned, I was watching it on Fox, right? And I was like, oh my God, it's so great. Dude, he's saying something about us. He's going to say, they're going to start on a mass scale talking about Merry Christmas, about Jesus and everything. And everything's going to be great. So I was watching it on Fox. I was like, wow. And they were putting up the headlines, like the great, awesome stuff that he was saying at the time. Listen. You have to listen to this. This is CNN. Notice the difference.
But you know what? In the end, it's going to be just as effective, and maybe it'll even be better.
Trump addresses conservatives how he ends right here. Trump ends Obamacare subsidies for low-income people. Has nothing to do, zero to do with what the president was talking about. This is madness. Now they're talking about the Iran deal and his whole government is in disarray. Oh God, it's the end of the world. They're painting a crazy picture that does not exist. Madness, what's happening, okay? Trump deals twin blows to Obamacare. Iran nuclear deal. That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about the actual speech that he gave. They're not even talking about that at all. And it just ended like 3 minutes ago. Look at this.
Conservative groups for years. And the anthem, the rallying cry, has been to repeal and replace Obamacare. The president now becomes the first sitting president to address this group. And frankly, he is before this group without any action legislatively in Obamacare. So the president actually gave a bit of a jab there to...
For poor people. They want to make everybody in an outrage. Like when they see a black criminal get shot, they'll put it on the screen for 9 million hours solid to get new groups started, like Black Lives Matter and Antifa, to cause mayhem. So they're putting that up there for poor people on purpose to try to make everybody go mental, okay? You have to see the trick of it.
The accomplishments, really the only accomplishment that the president was able to tout here was the nomination and appointment of Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. So, of course, that is a major issue for him.
Do you hear what he's saying? Hello. Do you hear what he's saying? He's saying that out of the possibly, I don't know the number, but I'm betting it's over 100, over the 100 great accomplishments that the president has made, there's only one actual one that he's actually even made for the Republicans. The Republicans. They're not talking about us. They're talking about their terrible, terrible system. Oh, they've forgotten that they're public servants and they serve us. We are the masters of this country. And they are picked from among us to represent us on a giant scale. Not everybody can be in the government. The whole country, the population can't be the government. So we pick select few who have our best interests at heart to do what we want them to do. And instead of that, the Democrats are only worried about their power and what side of the persons are winning. The Democrats or the liberals. Democrats and Republicans. That's all they care about. They don't really care about what's good for us or what's best for us or our future or any of that. They only care about attaining their power, keeping it, obtaining it, and keeping it. That's it. Keeping them in office, keeping them rich, keeping them in power. That's all they care about. They don't care about you, your family, your children, your future, your standard of living. They don't care about it. They really don't. Because I want you to I have to turn to look at this. Look at this. Trump ends Obamacare subsidies for low-income people. And they have 5 people talking about it. Do you understand? Do you see the trick of it? It's a trick. And the way you know it's a trick is by realizing they're talking about this about 5 to 7 minutes after a speech that had nothing to do with this. Does anybody else see that? The speech had nothing to do with what they're talking about. What are you talking about? Top Democrats condemn health care cuts as sabotage. What are you talking about? That's not even what he was saying. Let's turn it back to Fox. Because Fox is real. Fox is real.
Where does it lie? Well, I think that is the question, politically at least.
So they're dealing with the backlash of the Democrats. That's what they're doing. They're mopping up. Like, oh my God, the Democrats are lying and telling madness and stirring a whole bunch of trouble up again, like they did. Did you notice? I just a couple questions here. Got a couple questions. You gotta hear it. So anybody can answer these questions. Did anybody see any significant race issues before the mainstream media, CNN pretty much, blew it up in your face? Did anybody else notice that? Did anybody feel like, oh my God, if you're a black person, I'm condemned. I'm oppressed 24/7. These statues that I never even realized were here. Oh my God, they're suddenly oppressing me. Did anybody ever feel that? Ever? Before you seen these black criminals get shot? Did you ever see that? Did you ever feel that way? You don't even have to answer, because the answer is no. You never felt that way until the media blew it up in your face and had it consistently going 24/7. What started Black Lives Matter? Which started Antifa? Social justice groups that caused mayhem and destroy their own towns. I just got to let you know. When those riots went off, who was actually affected? The black community. It's a trick of the devil, it really is, to get somebody who's possibly being oppressed to turn inwardly to destroy their own selves. That's evil. And that's what the Democrats and the mainstream media did to everybody. They said, these white cops are going around with their super racistness, just gunning down black people for no reason. And sure, that was 50 years ago, but that's not reality today. Because that might happen in very rare instances, but then you actually microanalyze a situation and you realize there was no hands up, don't shoot. That was a lie. And then there actually was the kid reached into the car to try to grab the officer's weapon and physically attack the officer and be physically threatening. That actually did happen. So he was a criminal. And by those standards of any criminal, black, white, yellow, brown, nothing, you're a criminal. You cannot attack police officers and act like, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. No, dude, you're going to get dealt with because that's what happens to criminals. And then they put that person up there, make up a whole bunch of lies, get everybody stirred up on race, and there you go. You have a race problem, a huge race war, where none existed the day before. It's madness. It is madness. And we got people going around acting like these. I can't even really say it's black people because it's not really that many black people. Like, I just got to say, if you just go look back at the archival footage, it didn't happen too long ago, but if you go back and you look at the media footage of them breaking down those couple statues of those Confederate people, just look at the crowd. I would say 90% of the crowd was white people. I did not see masses of black people out there doing that. I didn't see that about them statues. Do you understand? They're doing madness. They're taking the dumbest ideas possible. I'm going to tell you the truth right now. I'm going to tell you the truth. This is secrets from the government. You guys are never going to believe it, and I'm sorry that it has to be this way, but I'm going to tell you. I'm going to reveal what they're actually doing. This is it. I have insider secret information, and I'm going to tell you what it is. This is reality. The Democrats are slavers, and they want to keep black people enslaved. And the reason why nobody will believe that is because they are enslaved, and they are in love with their own masters. That's reality. And I'm going to tell you now exactly how that's happening. Every one of their laws, agendas, and courses of action are to destroy the American family. And they implement all their sorts and types of evils to manipulate and enslave groups of people, such as black people, and they're trying to do it to white people, but Trump's like not having it. So here we go. It's not just white people that he's saying not having about. He's not racist. So, and I'm not racist. Don't ever think I'm racist. You'd be stupid to think I'm racist, okay? I love black people. And I want to go check out Africa and Uganda, the pearl of Africa. I want to go check it out. But you have to listen to this. Because they've tricked you so bad that you think that any white person that speaks about this is automatically a slaver or some kind of person that wants to oppress you. But here's the thing. I want to tell you. I don't want your credit card account. I don't want your bank number. I don't want nothing from you. I don't want your money. I don't care about, I care about you as a human, but I don't know you. I don't really care. I don't want nothing to do with you, truly. I don't want nothing from you. I just want to tell you the truth. And here's the truth. They're doing things to make you guys slaves. And among those things is giving you free stuff so that you feel indebted to them. Now, welfare is a good deal for poor people. But they've mechanized welfare into a mass weapon of enslavement. I'm being serious. Well, no, you got to hear me. Welfare is a great thing for poor people who cannot get anything. It's a great deal, okay? But for mainly the Democrats, they want to listen, they want to up your eligibility for free housing, welfare, and all these medical benefits and everything that could be beneficial to you for free so that you feel indebted to them to go their way every single time. If a person says you can have a great life, but you have to be normal and work for it, that's one hand. That's called the Republicans. The other person will say the exact same thing, the Democrats. You can have a great life, but we will give it to you for free. And they do it in such a way with their news, with their mainstream media, and with all their policies that whenever they say, the Republicans, you need to do a job for this because that's how society actually functions. We can't have half of the populace taking care of the other half of the population. It doesn't work that way. That's how you see implosions of commerce and we fail. There has to be a certain specific amount, I would say about 80% or 70% of the population doing an active job, paying taxes that would take care of the other people who cannot do jobs or who can't get a job or who is a mom of 5 kids who needs help, you understand? So that should be the ratio. But the Democrats don't want that ratio. Why? Because the lower the ratio of workers, the more the people are dependent on the government, means the more votes that they have by entitlement, by people feeling that they are owed, and they don't want the system of freeness to be broken. So if the Republicans say you got to work, which is normal for everywhere else in the world, you have to work. That's just life, okay? And we'll help you out some of the way, but you got to make this on your own. That's the American dream. And that's reality common life. Okay? Once you hear that, you'll be like, oh my God, that's the end of the world for me because these guys over here, the Democrats, are giving it to us all for free. And all we have to do is vote for them. All we have to do is make sure that they continue to retain their power so that I can be a lazy bum and never have to work for anything. That's exactly what it is. And not just that, but that you're a lazy bum. But say you are a part of the crowd that just can't get a job where you are. Things are so terrible. Or you're a mom of 5 kids. You have to understand that a mass of the people are using this because they don't want to work. But that's not how the system was created. The system is created on the Christian concept of helping the poor and to benefiting the poor to be equal standard to the middle to low class of people. It's not about anybody who doesn't feel like working can come get a check or some foodies so that you can support the Democrats. But that's how they've manipulated the system so that you guys will always, always be dependents to them. Wards of the state. WARDS. You need to go look that word up. Wards of the state. And do you know what that means by default? That you are slaves of the state. And because of this mass mindset that they've created for the last 30 years, because of that mindset that's throughout the entire country, anybody who opposes that risks everybody else getting free stuff. And so the mass will attack the few so that they can continue to get free stuff. And all they have to do is vote Democrat. And all they have to do is agree with all the Democratic stuff. It's a trick. It's a scheme to keep you enslaved. Because I'm telling you that if the dads return back to their homes and they raise their kids right and normal, there will be no inconsistencies of wealth between white and black. And guess what? They left the home out of, that's just the way they lived, Lots of dads leave their homes, they want to be womanizers, and they want to get high and drunk and never leave their youth, and they just want to be themselves, and whatever the case is. But I would say about 75% of it is democratically induced, that they would leave the home because of all of the stuff that they're doing against you guys to make. You don't understand how the family works. It's supposed to be the dad brings in the meat while the mom tends to the kids in the house. That's actually how it works. And that's why pretty much most of the people from the 40s and 50s used that system, and the mass of the population was a middle class. Now there is no middle class. For like years, there was no middle class because the Democrats want to turn away from that to create slaves that are dependent upon the system that they would get their vote every time. It's pretty easy to see. And once the dads started realizing that the moms are getting all this stuff for free, then the moms started to realize they're empowered. Then the moms didn't need a man, and they didn't need to be as a normal, natural family anymore. And so that's why a mom can have 5 kids by herself and get all the money from her man, which is actually the government, the Democrats. And then she obeys her man and submits to her man by continually supporting them. That is a form of hierarchy slavery. And what they do, the most beautiful, it's not beautiful, but if you were a master of war, as I am a master of war, it is a very beautiful tactic that you would cause war and slavery. I'm not saying I'm a part of war or slavery. I'm just saying it's pretty amazing to see. It's mind-blowing when you see it. It's like a trick. It's very rare to see manipulators at this type of level, at such a high level, doing stuff like this. They've manipulated you so well, have indoctrinated you with this evil so much that they will take exactly what they are doing and say it openly upon another person. And instead of fighting your slavers, you will look to people who had nothing to do with it, who want to help you get back to living a normal life, and they will paint them as the slavers. And so you never look behind you at the slaves' chains and who's holding them, but you fight somebody that actually has nothing to do with it, who wants to help you. That's what the Democrats are doing to the Republicans. That's actually what's happening right now. You will see that they call them white privilege, authoritarian, what is it called? They have all kinds of names for it. Like, oh, you're an oppressor, you're an authoritarian, misogynist, a white guy at the top. Trump is super racist. But have you ever heard him say the N-word? Have you ever seen him call a Hispanic person a wetback? Or, a jungle monkey or jigaboo for anybody else? You've never heard of it. I've never heard of it the whole time. I've been practically trying to look for evidence to see what are these people talking about. But that's the reality. Your slavers are painting a picture onto somebody who's not a slaver so they can divert your attention away from what they're actually doing to you. Because I'm telling you, if the dads return back to their families, or you young black men who stay with your family, you stay with your girl and you raise your kids right, guess what will happen? If the majority of your community does that, guess what you'll have? You'll have a thriving, self-owned community. And you won't need nobody to give you money because you'll all have your own businesses. That's what you call a white suburban area. It has nothing to do with our race. It goes by the model by which we use. We own our stuff because we don't depend on nobody else. That's why you've seen, I'm not being racist, just look at the evidence. That's why you've seen white pioneers go from the east and pioneer to the west and settled the land and cultivated everything there. And by the time everybody else showed up, it was already theirs. That's how the system actually works. And if black people would do the same thing to start at the sucky jobs, working at McDonald's, working at the local steel press, working at the local coffee mill. That's how it works. You start at the sucky jobs, you build up your own personal wealth, and then you as a community, that's the real group you should have, as a black group, a black community group, that you guys all put your money into the same pot, the excess money you got each time you get paid, and then you guys build up a wealth of a system like the Amish do, and then you guys start buying your own businesses, community businesses that work for the benefit of all the people that put stuff into the pot. And so that you guys start owning your own wealth and areas. That's how it works. And you guys are acting like you want to continue to be enslaved by the Democrats by getting free stuff. And I just want to say, at the free level that you guys live at, what is the actual standard of living? It's pretty bad. And how bad? They call them ghettos, which is the word ghetto actually comes from when the Nazis encamped the Jews in certain areas of very low standards of living, and they called them ghettos. And they imprisoned the Nazis imprisoned the Jews within walled-in areas called the ghettos. And they couldn't leave those areas, and they were oppressed to stay in those areas, while the rest of the people who were not Jews got to live in the regular world. That's what the Democrats are doing to you. And they're even doing it to white people. And that's why when they were tearing down the statues, most of the crowd was white people. And the girl that got killed on them times, and that time frame of the statues thing, was a white person. Did you notice it? They're also branching out to all the rest of the races. Because in the beginning, it was the Republicans and Abraham Lincoln that went off to war, and it was black people alongside them. Do you understand? And that war, the Civil War, that brought about freedom for the slaves. And it was the Democrats that pushed that through. Or excuse me, not the Democrats. It was the Republicans that pushed that through. Then once the Democrats realized we can no longer physically, legally own black people, then they started to creatively think, how can we still keep them as slaves, but in a way that is legalized? That's the system you have today. Do you see it? So and listen, and then once the system starts to be like, well, either they're starting to look back and see what the Democrats are doing, that we're actually their slavers, or that's a part of the situation that happened when when Barack Obama became president. That was what was about to start happening. They were looking back like, what's actually happening here? How are we such at a sucky level like that? And but yet we continue to give to the Democrats all the time, and yet we have this very low standard of living, and we're not actually gaining any much more. They promise a bunch of stuff, but they don't actually deliver anything. So once you start to see that upheaval, okay, 9 years ago, once you start to see that, that's one of their war tactics, that they would put a black guy who looks just like the black guys, who is a high position like the black guys, like what every mom and dad would want their child who's black to be like. You get to be like the president, and your daughters will be like the first lady. All right. So what they did was they put a puppet up there, and that puppet was Barack Obama. That's their war tactic. That's not me being racist. That's reality. That's a war tactic. Once you see that your slaves are starting to go crazy, you put somebody up there that's just like them to make them feel like, oh, it's okay. We're okay. One of our own made it. That's exactly what they did. And you guys bought it and you believed it. But what did he do? What did he actually do? And that's just half the side of the coin. The other side of the coin is they wanted to continue. They realized that after a time, the ghettos weren't looking so good. Public housing ain't so great. Welfare doesn't pay so much. All these free clinic stuff ain't so good no more. It's not holding their attention forever. So we have to give them a time. We have to give them a push that shows them that we're kind of like on their side. So they raised up that puppet Obama. And what did Obama do? He did exactly what all of the rest of the Democrats wanted him to do. There was not that I've ever seen, there was ever one time where the Democrats said something really bad about President Barack Obama. It was always, he's the best, dude, he's the best. Why? because they weren't actually talking about Obama. They were talking about themselves, because everything that he was doing was based on what he was told to do. That's reality. And the reason why he did so many stuff, so many things outside, this is what if you're paying attention, he did so many executive orders that was outside the guidelines, that was above everybody else. Like, it doesn't matter what the Republicans say. We're going to do this whether you like it or not. That's what Obama did. But you have to understand that he was controlled by the Democrats. They forced him to do it, and he agreed with it. That's why all the things that he did, signing things that we didn't want, that half the population didn't even want, and most of the people who did want it, they were only enslaved by trickery in their mind to want to do that. But if you look at it and you step out of that mindset, you just look at the facts for itself, that is nothing that you would want to happen. That's nothing that you wanted to happen. Okay? You got to look at the facts. You got to break it down. Stop being in a mass crowd sense of idea of a mass crowd. Don't just go along with the crowd. Look at it for yourself. Like, what is actually happening here? And I'm not a conspiracy theory crackpot nuthouse. I'm not. This is not me making stuff up. You can literally look at it for yourself. Look at who opposed freedom for the blacks. Then, when you skip ahead, I'd say about 100 years. Look at in the middle of the 1900s, like 1950 to 1970. Look somewhere in that area. Look at who actually was opposing your civil rights and all that stuff. What side was it? Who actually were the ones who were opposing it? Who was it? Was it the Republicans? Oh, wait, no. It really wasn't. Mass majority was not the Republicans, because mass majority of the Republicans, they wanted it to be free. They wanted you guys to be equal. Who was it? The Democrats. The Democrats. The same people who opposed letting slaves be free are the same people, pretty much, who opposed you having your civil rights. Who are the same people who are showing you today pictures of a few black people getting shot on the TV and manipulating you through CNN and their co-conspirators to get you guys to look at somebody who has nothing to do with it, so that they can stand in the background and continue to hold the slave chains on you. That's exactly what it is. They are the slavers. You are tricked. And it's real simple to turn around. All you have to do is, I don't 100% like the Republicans either. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm somebody different. I'm like a whole different kind that takes the best of both. I take the best ideas of the both, because most of their ideas are straight from the Holy Bible. Like, to help people who are poor, that's the Lord. That's in the Holy Bible. So mine is the Holy Bible. Mine is the commandments of the Lord. Mine are the aspects of Christianity, which are all the good things of Democrats and liberals without all of the crazy nonsense and bad stuff that's downside. And not just all their ideas, because all their ideas stem from the Holy Bible, but even more than that, even higher than that. Like, if I was ever a president or a senator or something, I would come out and straight plainly make my own. I think President Trump has a good idea with the Twitter stuff, but he's not even close to where it should be. He should actually have a camera in the White House and, where his office is, and he should be daily updating the people face to face on a camera like this, like a video like this, telling them, because you can't give away secrets and stuff and all the sneaky stuff, not the sneaky stuff, but the planning that you do that would defeat our enemies. You can't tell openly the planning that you do, because then the enemies are tipped off, and then they can, set up things that would counteract what we would do to attack them, or a problem that we're going to solve, but we can't tell you all the information, because those who are we are going to be at war with, like people who want to raise bills and stuff, or bring tax cuts for the poor people, we couldn't be able to tell openly everything we're going to do because they'll manipulate their plans to adjust to our attack, and then it will be of no effect. You understand? So I think that if I was the president, I would literally have a really nice, beautiful website, huge, beautiful website, and it would be open to every legal citizen who you would have to fill out a form and stuff on there, like what's your date, what's your social security number, and everything, so that you could come on. And there'd be literally tens of millions of people that would be the audience, which is the American people. And I would say the agenda of the day. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. And if you're paying attention to that website, all right, you will get in real time what's happening during the day, and you will actually be able to do. We will do like a voting thing right on the website, and you'll be able to say what you think you want. You'll be able to vote yes, no, maybe, and the maybes would be able to give their answer, like a really quick answer that the programmers would be able to read and put into categories so that we could get exactly what the mass appeal of what everybody wants to happen on the daily issues that the president would deal with, if I was president, that I would deal with. I will tell you guys, we have 10 things on the agenda. This is what we're doing, and this hour, and the next hour, and this hour, and this hour. So I'm going to hurry up and give you a quick synopsis of what this issue is about for the first of the 10 issues. And you guys tell me exactly and the majority of the people would go yes or no, pretty much, okay? And then they would say, yes, we would want you to go this way. And I'll give you the end result. Say, like, do you guys want us to cut taxes for the rich people at the top 1%, for businesses to try to grow industry so that more people could have jobs? And then you guys would answer. And based on what you said, that's what I'd do, because I'm a public servant. And the only time that I would override that is if I realized that it was like too many liberals were saying yes, and it would be like it would damage our future. I would have to make everything cohesive. Every one of these plans and everything, every agenda, like everything that we're set out to do every day, I would have to work it cohesively that would be to the benefit of everybody and to the benefit of the future. This is going to work out for the future. And so wise is the man who has many counselors. You guys would actually be the masters, and I would be the public servant who did what the majority thought. And by the code of morality and by the code of law, I would agree with the ones who are the majority, but it has to be in a good way. Like, you can't be like, should we outlaw abortion, knowing that the babies are actually alive and they have a heartbeat and they have brain cells, and whenever the cells start to split, even in the first couple of weeks, that's still a living being that has the potential to grow to an adult human. Should we outlaw abortion? And then you use morality, and morality says, yes, we should outlaw abortion. And then we would use the code of law. It is illegal to murder another living entity. Okay? To kill another living entity is illegal, is a crime. So we would work on that, and I would present that to you, and then I would allow everybody to vote. And that's the way it would be. And then we would work off that. And we would do it as a family, as a team together. And that's how it should be. Now, he's got an inkling of this with Twitter, but really it's nothing close, not even close to what should be happening. And the common media, freedom of the press, that's great. But we should have way more insight. We are actually, the population, the legal residents of the land are actually the masters of the land. And the ones who are at the government are public servants. They serve us. They do what we want them to do. Simple. And so that's what should be happening. And so I know I started off this video fun, but I just want to tell you guys, dude, you have to open your mind. You have to be smart. It's a trick. It's a game that they're doing to you. The president came on, and I just want to break it down before I turn this off. The president came on, did a speech on how he's going to protect Christian rights and everything, and how he's going to keep up the standard of our traditions of Christianity and Judeo-Christianity. And it's not to, force it on anybody else. It's just like we're going to say Merry Christmas, and nobody's going to be able to stop us. We're allowed to do that. We're allowed to pray whenever we feel like praying, because that's a part of the Constitution, and that's our God-given right. We're allowed to pray. Nobody can stop us from doing it. Okay? Simple. Easy to understand. And it's saying that our sermons and our pastors will no longer be like where they're controlled and they can't say this, they can't say that. No, that's no longer going to happen. Everybody has freedom of speech. Done and done. It's nothing to argue about. They're not going to edit our sermons or do anything madness against us anymore, because they realize that this country, excuse me, America, was made majority by Christian men. And if you read the actual documents, like the Constitution and everything else, you will see that if you pick this up, this is the dad that gave birth to the kid, which is all of our high legal documents, like the Declaration of Independence, like the Bill of Rights and all that stuff, okay? Thank you, Father. Bless you, my King. That's what it actually is. Our entire system is built on Christian principles. Now everyone wants to change that, but I wonder why it's escalating so fast. And then you just look at the news. Oh, Obamacare is being attacked. When all these people made countless millions, possibly into the billions, off of normal people who could not afford it with their deductibles and such. That's robbery. That's madness. Can't be allowed to happen. You have to destroy that and put something better in its place. It's common knowledge, dude. Everybody understands that. Stupid. What they're talking about is just dumb. You should have free. All we have to do, it's real simple. We are the greatest country in the world. Like we couldn't figure out a problem. All you have to do is go to the countries that have free healthcare and figure out exactly how they do it and work it in a way that our government and our system could be able to do it. There wouldn't be a strain on our system, but it would actually work out good. And then we could have free healthcare for every human in our country without putting a strain on the system. And that's how it works. Do you understand? They are doing it in other countries. It's not some mysterious thing we can't figure out. Dude, we're the smartest. We came over here and the whole land was untouched, pretty much. I mean, besides the Indians, and all the previous people, like the indigenous people. But it was unsettled. It was like woodlands and stuff. There was nothing here but tribes and woodlands. And look what it is today. We did that. We put a man on the moon. There's nothing we can't figure out without with the Lord's help. He'll help us at all, okay? It's pretty simple, easy to understand. Okay, I think breaking news. I have to turn this up.
She was at that briefing, she had the details. Michelle, what did I say? What are you hearing? The first thing we heard from Secretary of State Tillerson sounded like...
Do you ever notice it's a trick? I know this is long, but... I know this video is long. Just give me 1 second. I need to see. Let's see what's that. I'm just turning it off. It's a trick. When the president comes out and does they're so worried about mainstream media, so worried about all the press and all the questions that we have rights to be there and ask questions. But yet when the president speaks a speech, they don't even show it on the news half the time. That's a trick. It's a game. They don't even show you you have to actually look it up on YouTube. What was the speech that the president was talking about Iran today? They don't even show it on there. This is what they did. They'll have the speech, they'll gain all the information without actually showing it to us, and then they'll manipulate it in their own way and say what they want to about it. They don't actually show us what they said on there. What did the president actually say? What is he saying? I can sit here watching news all day long and not see one of the speeches that the president gives to us. Not see one of the things that he actually did today. What were some of the things he did today? I don't know nothing about it. I don't feel like this is my government. I feel like people are railroading me and they're just agreeing with whatever they've manipulated us to tell us. That's what it is. That's what I feel like. Don't you feel like that? When's the last time that you actually every single day saw what the president was actually doing and saying? I haven't seen it. Is that the president's fault? A tiny bit. Is it the mainstream media's fault? Almost all of it. Because they're actually there. Do you know that? All these people who work for all these big media outlets, they're all there with the president 24/7. They go everywhere he goes. They watch everything he does. They could be telling us everything that he's doing. Straight up and true. Like, okay, dude, he's in there. He's meeting with these people. They can actually have a picture on the door. He's meeting with these certain, he's meeting with these certain people. This is what they could be talking about. This is what they're probably talking about in here. This is the briefing of the day. This is what's happening. But they don't show that. They keep all that stuff hidden, secret, sneaky. And then they come up with their own agenda. Well, we want to have Democrats back in power. So we're going to manipulate this in a way to where we look like he's doing crazy nonsense. But they never just show it unbridled, uncensored. What is he actually doing? What is he talking about? What plans is he enacting? Oh, I thought I had a booger. I don't have a booger. What is he actually doing in there? They don't never show it. When he comes out and he speaks on a podium, they don't show the entire speech. They don't show from when he shows up to when he leaves. They only do that on big, giant, important things. They don't show the common everyday stuff. So they can take that everyday stuff, don't show it to us, and say, we have an affiliate live there. What was he talking about? Why would we need to know what this affiliate's talking about when you could have just turned on the dang camera? We could have saw it for ourselves. Hello, CNN. Hello, big media outlets. We don't care what you think. You are not me. You are not the head of my family. You are not the head of my community. You are not down here in the battlefield where we live dealing with the problems that we're dealing with. You're in some fancy place up high thinking that you're privileged. You're not among us. We don't know you. I've never even seen an affiliate anywhere. Have you ever seen an affiliate in your town? Do they live in your town? Where do these people come from? Have you ever met a CNN anchor? Have you ever met ABC News? Even Fox. I'm not being mean to Fox. I like Fox. But have you ever seen these people in your town? Knowing what's going on in your personal community. No, you have never seen it. And you want to know why you've never seen it? Because they're not a part of us. There's some other entity that's manipulating what we get told to us. It's crazy. It's crazy. And the majority of people keep blinded to that and just agree with whatever they're saying. It's crazy. I want to see what's actually going on over there. Last time I checked, I just gotta say, the last time I checked, anybody who worked at McDonald's who showed up at the job and was like, oh, I'm taking a McDonald's coffee and a hamburger, I'm just gonna chill back. I'm not doing any work today. I'm not. I can't agree with the boss in no way, no how. I'm just gonna sit here, drink some coffee, eat a Big Mac. And you're going to pay me for that. And I'm gonna continue working here. There's nothing you can do to stop me. That's not reality. That's not how things go. It's not. That's not what happens in real life. So why is it that the senators and all these representatives can go in there on our behalf and just laze about and argue with themselves and get nothing done? And they stay there for years and years and years and years. I don't get it. Last time I checked, you don't work, you get fired. You don't have a job no more. You ain't doing what you're supposed to do. See you later, dude. We'll fill your spot with somebody who will do the job. What is this madness? And why has it been that the mainstream media has popularized these things so that we accept that? I don't understand it. Why everyone's just going along with it. He who does not work shall not eat. That's right in the Holy Bible. He who does not take care of his family is worse than an infidel. Infidel's a Christian word. It's not even a Muslim word. It's originally a Christian word. They stole and plagiarized and use it all the time now. And who sides with the Muslims? Democrats. who plagiarized the Holy Bible. That's what they did. They plagiarized most of the parts of the Holy Bible and then added their own nonsense to it and evilness, where he talks about killing people that don't believe exactly what you believe. And what do you see what happening now? You see the Democrats doing exactly the same thing that the Muslims did against the Holy Bible with their false Quran. That's exactly what they plagiarized the Holy Bible and made it called a Quran, and they took the big key important parts, put it on a separate piece of paper, added their nonsense, and slapped the title Quran on it. And everyone thought this was a new wild type of religion. It's a parody. It's a fake, disgusting, evil charade of the real, and the real is the Holy Bible. They even say it in their book. If you don't think what you are saying is right now, go back and talk to the people of the book and ask them for advice. Meaning, go back and plagiarize. That's what it is. It's plagiarism 101. And the Democrats have sided with the Muslims, and they've adopted this system. They've adopted it. It's madness. Where they've taken the authentic and they've manipulated it. They've taken helping the poor and manipulated it into a weapon to keep people enslaved. They've taken the original idea from God to humans, the institute of marriage, and they've manipulated it to where it offends everybody. Did you ever notice that? Gay people getting married, transgender getting married. The original creator of that system of marriage said these are forbidden. These are not allowed to happen. And yet they've justified somehow, magically, that this is just the way it should be. Oh, 1% of the population wants to do this. And so we've terrorized the rest of the 99% of the population to bend to our will. Did you ever see that? Do you ever see how they oppose? The Muslims oppose even the existence or even the speaking of Christians. Have you seen that? We're opposed to that level. We're not even allowed to speak, and in most of the cases, we're not even allowed to exist, live. And then you'll hear the Democrats do the exact same thing. They'll say that they're trying, this is what they do. Listen, this is the model that they use for most of their stuff. Everything that they're doing evil, they'll manipulate it onto somebody else as like a projector screen, onto a projector screen. Everything that's actually happening in projection and the movie reel, they project it onto somebody else. And everybody's blinded, like, oh, I can't figure out that this is actually a person's doing it. I'm just seeing what they're saying about this person. They could be the target. No, let's go mental on them. But that's not reality. It's really the ones over here who are saying the stuff. So if you notice firsthand, you will see that they adopt the evil ways of the Muslims, the Islamic terrorists. You'll see it. They adopted the same thing from when they plagiarized the Holy Bible and called it the Quran and added their own evil stuff about killing people. And then they stopped everybody from even talking. Listen, this is what they do. They go around in death squads, and anybody who draws a cartoon of their false prophet Muhammad, or says that he is a false prophet, as I do, or says anything, even one word that is about Muhammad, the false prophet Muhammad, the false god Allah, what they'll do, they'll have death squads go around, and they'll kill everybody who says that if they can get to you. That's real. They've been doing that to Paris, people in Paris, for a long time, many attacks. Okay? They'll do that. And that sounds a lot like the social justice warriors that are going around now. The snowflakes that can't handle a second opinion. The ones that that need their safe spaces at the colleges. Who've ripped off the original idea of true American liberty, of freedom of speech, and they've segregated everybody else who does not talk exactly like they talk, just like the Muslims, and does not believe exactly like they believe, just like the Muslims, and has minoritated them, oppressed them, put them in the bad category where they can't speak, they can't do anything, and they're oppressed, just like us Christians are from the Muslims. And then they make it so that only one opinion is heard. Only one speaker who is liberal and Democrat can come to the podium and speak. Everybody else is attacked. That's why you see, what's his name, Ben Shapiro, constantly attacked. That has never happened in the history of our country, that a person couldn't say an opposing, debatable line. It has never happened. Never. That's what freedom of speech is about. That more than one opinion can be discussed. And yet that's being taken away now. Why? Why are they adopting these measures? Why are they talking about this? Why are they doing this? Why? Because they want to see, no, not that they want to see, they want to have everything that's going on in the Muslim countries where it's consistent war, a money machine, an oppressive thing that only one regime can keep power, just like in all the Muslim countries that they're copying, the Democrats are copying, they could have that here. That everyone would be literal slaves, and not just mentally, and not just figuratively, but real slaves. And you can see by these new liberals and social justice warriors that they're enacting not just their idea that we could enslave you and stop your speech, but now with violence, with Antifa. Now they're bringing it into physical and reality, to where if you try to speak, we are going to physically attack you. If you try to say Trump is a good guy, we're going to ostracize you as a racist, even though we have zero evidence and there's nothing that can even come close, that even if you're a black person, you're somehow an Uncle Tom. It doesn't make any sense, okay? And they'll do that and be like, oh, you're the worst person ever, to get the mass mindset into a raging crowd. That it becomes just like the mass appeal of Islamic people, Islam. And that's what they do. They're carrying on the system over here. And what happens? Women become oppressed. All the other types of other types of people that think in other religions, executed or pushed out of the land. And you see that. The stage is being set. First, it was figurative, where they kept you in slave chains by welfare and giving everybody free stuff so that you would continue to keep them in power, the Democrats. And then it's moving on to Antifa, Black Lives Matter, social justice warriors. The very problems that the Democrats are causing, they're manipulating it to look like the Republicans are actually causing, the Christians are actually causing. And so by this that they're stirring up against us, which is not reality, they're just doing it all themselves. They create within that vacuum the groups like Black Lives Matter, like Antifa, that cause mayhem onto innocent people that have nothing to do with what's going wrong with you guys. That's what they're doing. That's actually what